I'm getting ready to put it out. We done been in the studio and recorded it. And so it's just a matter of time before it comes out. And if you like it, buy it, okay? Come on CD, baby, and everywhere else I can be. All right? Here we go. Play it right now.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to Jazzabrations Live. I'm your host, Linda Morgan, and we are here sitting in our new big chairs. Y'all can't see it, but yes, I'm on our big chairs in our studio here at Morris Media Studios, and I am excited as always to be here with my guest, none other than the Miss Rosa Lee Brooks, and that song was "Hey Baby." I can't sing, but I know you can, Mama.
Thank you.
Welcome
Thank
to
you.
Jazzabrations Live on this Sunday afternoon.
Yes, it's very nice to be here.
Thank you for being in the studio. We got so much to talk about, y'all. This is the preeminent one that was a girlfriend to the none other than Mr. Jimi Hendrix. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, too.
Okay, my pleasure.
And we're going to talk about a little bit of our history here in L.A. and all that stuff. But that song we opened up with was "Hey Baby." Where did that one come from? Give us a little history on that.
I was at home just with my keyboard player and a friend one night, and we were, just fooling around with music. I told him to play Misty for me. Mm-hmm. So he attempted to play Misty, but he couldn't figure Misty out. So he came up with these notes, and I just chimed right in and started singing the lyrics. It just came spontaneously. As music comes to me, I'm a lyricist. So writing songs is something that I've been doing, poems and songs, ever since I was a youngster. And it just came to me like that. And we feel like it's our hit. And we hope that everybody get a chance to hear it. Thank you for playing it on the radio today. It's always nice to hear your music come over the airways like that. And we're really proud of that particular piece. Thank you.
Well, great. Well, it sounds great. It's one of them head-bopping tunes that make you sway and sway as you listen to it.
Somebody says it's a classic. It's kind of put them in the same frame of mind when they listen to At Last or Sunday Kind of Love that type of material.
Right. I could see that for sure.
Yes.
Now, where were you born? Let's give a little history on you.
I was born in New Iberia, Louisiana.
In Iberia, Louisiana?
Yes, ma'am.
And how many children do you have?
Well, I have one daughter who is deceased. She passed away in 2016. I just lost my baby.
Yes, I remember that.
And but she gave me 3 beautiful grandchildren. I got a grandson. He's the oldest, firstborn, and then I have 2 granddaughters, and no great-grands yet. I'm waiting.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to stick around. I ain't going nowhere till I get some, okay?
Y'all hear that out there? You need to call in and tell her you're going to give her a great-grandchild, okay? She's waiting for
I'm waiting.
That number is 323-293-3375. If you grandkids out there want to call in her and tell her and cite her date and tell her that you're going to give her a great grandchild.
I want to be a great-grandmother before I leave the planet.
Yes. So when did you arrive in California?
I've been here since I was like 3 months old. I've never known anywhere else, okay? They took me to New Orleans when I was like 14 or 15 years old. All my relatives are there. I've got relatives in St. Louis. I've got relatives in Eudora, Arkansas. And I got relatives in Texas. So I can go visit whenever I want.
But you've known California's been your home.
I'm a native, really, and I don't even say transplanted, because if you're 3 months old when they bring you somewhere, you don't know nothing else.
That's all you know.
That's all you know.
So when did you catch the blues bug?
Well,
rock and roll.
Let me just go all the way back to my childhood, if I may.
Okay.
Since I was 2 years old, I would sing everything that came on the radio, note for note, word for word. We had Hunter Hancock. It was a white man who played black music back in the day, way back in the day. Okay, that's history right there. And then there was a brother named Joe Adams that played all the good black music.
They were DJs?
They were DJs, and they kept it spinning. They had all the greatest legendary people of that era, like I think it was Clyde McFadden, the Drifters, Joe Liggins and the Honey Drippers, Ivy Joe Hunter, Big Joe Turner, what's his name?
You know anything about that?
What's his name? And Louis Jordan. Esther Phillips, I believe, came along through there about that time too. Johnny Otis, all of them were back there making them hits back when I was a little kid. And like I said, I remember singing that song, "Ain't Nobody Here But Us Chickens." I remember that when I was a little girl singing.
Wow, okay.
But I grew up in a neighborhood that was just blessed with all of the greatest of entertainers who all became famous and legendary. People like Miss Etta James. I was like maybe 6, 7 years old, and her and Richard Berry used to rehearse. They lived like 2 doors away from me, and she used to let me sit on their porch and she said, "Okay, y'all can listen, but just be quiet." So we would be quiet because we was interested in the music.
Oh, good.
And like when I was 9, I got a scholarship. The professor in my music class saw that I could pick up any instrument and play it instantly without even ever touching it before. And I could play upright bass, and anything instrument you gave me to play, I could play it.
Wow, that's a gift.
I got that scholarship and to attend USC, but I think at 9 years old, I think I may have encountered my first experience with racism, because they put me in this room with, I would say, like 1,000 pianos was in that room, and no one ever came in there to see about me. I was just left there alone. And my mother, when I got home, she asked me how did it go, and I told her, nobody came to see, to help me do anything. I was just there all by myself all day, like nobody came. And so she asked me to try it one more day, and I did. The same thing happened. I used to go to South Park back in that day, and I was playmates with people like Barry White. Miss Lena Horne lived on Park Front Walk. We could listen to her sing and rehearse from her window. There was all kinds of activities always going on, and there was like people that played the percussions and stuff in the park like they do in Lamert now. Mm-hmm. And just all of that was always activity. Music was always going on in my life. And as a teen, I was the protege of Mr. Johnny Guitar Watson, who took me on my very first blues gig. You asked me about the blues. He's the one that took me to sing my first blues gig.
Wow.
And I went to a place out in what they call Paris, California, called the Johnson's Ranch. That's where all the black folks used to go and party. And I hesitate to say that there was sawdust on the floors. No, it wasn't
that's all right.
But I went out there and I sang a Aretha Franklin song.
How old were you at this time now?
I was 15.
15.
I was age 15.
Okay, so we're moving on up to...
Yes. I was 15, and he took me there, and he was like a proud papa. I nailed that song, and all of the sisters was, "Oh, that gal sure can sing." I remember some of them saying that when we was out there. But I just carried on, continued on with my music. I was, like I said, growing up in a neighborhood like the 5-4 ballroom. I could hear everybody from my bedroom at night on the weekends that were performing there, whether it be, what's his name, Arthur Prysock, James Brown and the Famous Flames, Hank Ballard and the Midnighters. Oh, my God, there's so much. I've got history. L.A.'s music history, I've got it. I'm writing it. I can't share it all today.
Right.
I would love to, but it will take too much time.
So So you started singing about
Since I was a baby.
Right.
I won a contest when I was almost 5 years old singing "Yes, Jesus Loves Me" at church.
Wow.
I won a rocking chair and $100. And I remember the day I stood on that podium in the church singing that song, and there were lights like energy dancing over my head. This something like very powerful, very spiritual was happening to me
when you sung that
when
song.
I sung that song.
Wow.
And I knew from that day forward that, and my mother did too. And she nurtured me and guided me in that direction all my days.
Okay. So who were some of your earlier influences around 15, since you had the...
Well, Miss Etta James gifted me with her endless album with all those hits on it. At Last was the title album of the album, but she had everything on there. Tell Mama, My Dearest Darling, Wait, Stop the Wedding. I mean, she had every hit was on that one album. I think it was like maybe 20 songs on there, wasn't it?
Right.
Something like that. But on the weekends, you could find, I had my own stereo in my own room. I used to take my headscarf. I had a red headscarf when I couldn't afford to buy me a little red bulb. I'd throw that scarf over my lamp, make it all nice and cozy in my room.
Make you a red bulb, red light.
Make it all cozy in my room and put Etta on. She was in heavy rotation all day, all evening. I'm partying. And back then, the little drinky drink we used to have was Silver Satin and Kool-Aid. Y'all remember those days?
Only person in here can remember that would be Mr. Johnny Morris in the house.
Yeah, and then we toss it back with some Rainier Ale. Remember that?
Yeah.
Wash it down with the Rainier, okay? That's how we rolled back in the day. But my mom, she made my outfits when I had gigs. She was right there when I was in the Glee Club and chorus and all the schools I attended. I went to John Muir and Manual, and tell you, there were a lot of very legendary artists that came out of my school, like Darlene Love, that became part of was the lead singer for the Blossoms and the Honeycomb. Those were her two groups. There was a lady named Carolyn Willis, who was a keyboard player as well as a singer, who went on to record with Seals and Croft.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
she did that one song that I remember and sang it so beautifully was Closer to You. You remember that?
Mm-mm.
Darling, if you want me to be closer to you, get closer to me.
Okay.
That was Seals and Croft.
And
she sang that bridge in there, and she had the most angelic voice you ever wanted to hear.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, let's go into some music. We're going to go into one of your songs, whether it be a video or an audio.
All right.
And we're going to come back and talk about it. And we're going to fast forward up to when you got to be 20 years old.
Okay, that's the good part.
Right. We was up to 15, but we're going to come back when she's going to be 20 years old. We'll be right back, you guys. You're here with Linda, your host on Jazzabrations Live, and my guest, Miss Rosa Lee Brooks.
All right now.
Something deep down in my soul said, go ahead on and ride, girl. When I saw you and that same girl walking, well, I reckon for mine.
All righty. We did a little video there of her singing, Miss Rosa Lee Brooks. Welcome back. I'm your host, Linda Morgan, and we're riding on Jazzabrations Live today here in the studio.
Yes.
Welcome back. Now, we talked before we took the break about you had gotten up to 15. Then we talked about what happened between 15 and 20. We're going to skip from 15 and we're going to go to 20. What happened at 20? Tell us what happened at 20
Oh,
years old.
boy. Okay, let me just stop back. I joined a group called the Ribbons, an all-girl group. It was 5 of us. It was originally it was 4, but the lead singer passed away with a heart attack at age 23.
Wow.
They had 3 chart hits out at the time. Ain't Gonna Kiss You No More, After Last Night, and My Mama Said. And I became the lead singer for that band, for that group. The lady that ran the group, her name was Evelyn Doty. Evelyn, we stayed, she actually took me and a young lady named Patricia Patridge as 2 vocalists to sing with her after she replaced the lady that passed away. And we were going out. We were on Dick Clark's show. We were hitting all the clubs, scenes around in Hollywood, North Hollywood, hanging out at the Lazy X. We went out there and we just they loved us so much that we just started going out there on a regular basis performing. And we met some wonderful people. I met people like Roger Miller, Glenn Campbell, the pianist named Al Kramer, I believe his name was.
Okay.
And a guy by the name of Dewey Martin, who was the drummer for the Norm Raleigh band, who went on to play and sing for the Buffalo Springfield. That song, For What It's Worth, that's him singing the lead on that song.
Okay.
And I actually, I won't go to that part yet, but I was like around 19 or so when I joined that Ribbons group. And we stayed with her. I joined them in like June, and I was done in December because she was very domineering, controlling, and it was just more than I could. And the young lady that joined with me, we just 86.
I ain't heard that word in a while. 86.
We got on up out of there.
Right.
So the night that I went to the club, me and her, we went to the California Club to celebrate and bring in the new year. And I was 20 by then. I was sitting there watching the show. And while I'm sitting there, I felt something very powerful demanding me to turn around. I mean, it was like nothing. I mean, it was a force, powerful force, demanding, turn around. And I finally turned around. And there was this man staring at me. And I started staring back at him. He was handsome as he could be.
And who was that staring at you?
At the time, I didn't know who he was. And we stared at each other for so long until I got embarrassed and I turned back around and started watching the show again. Ike and Tina Turner show with the Ikeettes. And they all up there dancing and shaking them fringe dresses and throwing that hair and stuff and just putting on a great show and stuff. And I kind of like wiped him out of my mind, but not before thinking how fine he was. And then maybe 15, 20 minutes went by, and I had to go to the ladies' lounge. I stood up, and when I stood up, I saw him stand up. And I started walking toward the door, the exit. And when I got close enough to him, he reached out and grabbed my hand. And he was holding my hand and asking me would I join him at his table. And so I said I would, but I got to go over here right now, you know. So I promised him I would sit with him, and so when I got back, he stood up and ushered me in. It was a red booth, and it was right there on the wall as you entered the door. And so I slid on in, and then he sat next to me, and then he ushered the barmaid over to get me a drink, get him to refresh his. And a few minutes later, he was flagging the cameraman down to take pictures and stuff with us. He told me his name was James Marshall Hendricks. I loved that name, and I always called him James Marshall. Jimmy, everybody calls him Jimmy. So I, kind of got trained to call him that too. But I love his given name. And anyway, we sat and enjoyed the rest of the show. I sat with him, and I felt like I'd known him all my life.
One of that first
love? It was, because he was the boy of my dreams. The face that I saw was the face that I would see in dreams. It was also, when I was a little girl in elementary school, every boy that I liked looked like him.
Wow.
That's the real deal. I couldn't make this up, okay? So I think he saw something in me the same, because a little later on down the road, when his father saw a picture of me, he said, "No wonder Jimmy was so crazy about you, because you look a lot like his mom." And I said, "I do." And then I got a picture of her and finally saw it, and I did. I said, "Yeah, it kind of resembles her a little bit." And anyway, the evening that I spent with him was New Year's Eve, and at 12 midnight, guess what we did? Smooches.
Well,
very good too, might add. And I had at the time a '59 Chevy Impala convertible, white rag top, misty blue in color, beautiful car. Wish I had it kept. It's a classic. So it was parked right. If you know the California Club, St. Andrews runs right there, and there's a tree. I was parked right up under that tree, and we got out, and we could walk right through the door. That's where I was parked. So at the end of the evening, when Ike and Tina's show was through and it was time to go home, Jimmy's buddy, who was Glenn Willing, he played with Little Richard's band too, and as a matter of fact, he was responsible for bringing Jimmy into Little Richard's group. Jimmy hit him up in Atlanta, telling him he was a guitar player and wanted to know if Little Richard needed a guitar player. So yeah, Little Richard always was liking to have a new guitar player in his band. So he joined the band in the beginning of 1963. He had almost been with him a year when we met. but he was ready to leave Little Richard's band. So what happened was we decided we were going to be another Ike and Tina. And I'll have to tell you about the song that we wrote together called My Diary.
Yeah, we have that here. We're going to play that too.
Okay, well, I'll tell you how that all happened. I don't think I'm a bad girl, though.
No, hey.
You know what? When it's love, it's love. That's all I know.
Absolutely.
But anyway, I'll just say after a night of passion, about noonish, Jimmy got out of bed and picked up his guitar. He was leaning up against the sofa. And he walked over there and picked it up, and then he sat down on the sofa and he started strumming this real pretty melody on the Curtis Mayfield tip. And when I asked him what it was, he said, just some love notes. And then he started singing. I know that I will never love again. I know that I will be my only friend. That came from James Marshall.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of it came from me. Well, if I could, I'd like for you to see the love-sickened image I turned out to be. Turned out to be. That's our song.
Wow.
That was our baby.
Well, I want to hear that all the way through. We got an animated version of this song called My Diary.
My good friend Major, Lloyd Major. Hey, if you out there listening, thank you for that, man. You saved my day.
Putting this video together. We're going to go right into it right now.
All right.
My Diary.
I'm getting ready to put it out. We done been in the studio and recorded it. And so it's just a matter of time before it comes out. And if you like it, buy it, okay? Come on CD, baby, and everywhere else I can be. All right? Here we go. Play it right now.
Wow, my
Thank
diary.
you.
So your mother found your diary?
Not really. I just wrote the song. But our birthdays, like every birthday of his or mine, if it's a Monday, if both of us are on whatever day of the week it is, our birthdays are on that day. And not only that, my mother's as well as his memorial. He passed on September the 18th. So his memorial falls on the same day as our birthdays. And my mother's birthday falls on the same day, too.
Wow.
How coincident is that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, that was her animated version of the song that she wrote with
Jimmy and I. He kicked it off with that first line, and he thought he couldn't sing. He never thought he was a singer. But he went on to do some great songs, and his voice was just magical.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's for sure. He has gone on to do some amazing work. So let me ask this question.
Okay.
How has the award that you received how has that impacted you in any way since receiving the Living Legend Award?
For me, it was I will say an honor that I never dreamed that I would ever receive something or be acknowledged in that way. I know I never knew anybody was anywhere in my lane, as they say, to know what I do or how long or what I've been doing all my days as far as being an artist is concerned. I've been around here for many, many years, and to have somebody recognize me was a very proud day for me, and it will always be one of the biggest highlights that I could achieve. To be, everybody wants people to know they were here.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants to be recognized for what they've done. That's why some people do crazy stuff. They want to recognize me, whatever I did. But to have somebody recognize me for what I actually do, I sing. I have gifts that only God could give me. And I go to the people with them, and I share them with as much love as I possibly can muster from myself. And I give it to the people. It's not fake. It's not contrived. I didn't get it in the laboratory. I didn't beat myself up. It's from the heart.
Right. And that's what you have a group that you perform with most of the time.
Oh,
all
yes.
your cats.
Yes.
Tell us about the name. Yes.
Oh, my God. I have some of the best musicians in Los Angeles backing me up. I gave them my name. They're the Brooks Project.
Mm-hmm.
I have some of the baddest cats on guitars. I got an arsenal of guitar players. It's like they're drawn to me because of my connection with Jimmy, I believe. But I'm also a muse. And I've been a muse all my life. When I was a little girl, my dad, he played guitar, and my brother played guitar. He started playing at 11. But my dad used to have all the baddest guitar players coming to the house, like Lowell Folsom, Pee Wee Creighton, T-Bone Walker, Smokey Hawks. I can't even remember all the people. And Johnny Guitar Watson. That's how he took me under his wing when I was 15, because he used to come hang out. And they jammed at my house all the time, guitars all over the place. But anyway, I've been around music all my days and instruments all my days, and I love to sing, and I bring the best out of them, and they bring the best out of me.
Yeah, so who are some of them cats?
I tell you off the top, I've got one of the most well-known guitar players anywhere named Greg Wright.
Mm-hmm.
Greg is known for being the guitarist for Michael Jackson's Thriller album. He's also known for being on the Victory Tour with Michael. He toured with him for a year. He's also on the Fleetwood Mac album. These two albums, Thriller and the Rumors album, are the highest gross-selling albums of all time.
Wow.
He's been with Greg, the Allman Brothers Band. Oh my God, he's achieved notoriety in New Orleans for being the rock and blues man that he is. He's an entity all by himself, separate from me, but he has joined me, and we have a ball together. And the rest of them, I have Mr. Coltrane. His strong suit is blues and jazz. The man, he's totally influenced by the earliest jazz guitarists of all time, like Wes Montgomery, Kenny Burrell, Grant Green, the pioneers back in the day that really established that octaves
in guitar.
On guitars, that they played with octaves. And that's what Coltrane is gifted with.
Who's on them drums?
I have a gentleman by the name of Robert Gates. He's out of Chicago. He's been out here for a year, and he is just making headway everywhere. Everybody wants a piece of him. Okay, because he's that bad.
And I know when our friends from Japan are in town, they come and sit in with you.
Oh yeah, my friend. He's part of my band. That's Hero.
Oh, he's here.
Yeah, he's here.
Okay,
he lives here. He's actually a radio announcer.
Gotcha.
Yes, but Hero.
He's a bad.
Hiro Seki. He can play anything. I told him. I said, I wanted to do this war song called "City Country City." Where Lee Oscar's blowing the harmonica. Mm-hmm. Man, that dude can play that stuff note for note. You'd think Lee Oscar was in the room, okay?
Harold Brown.
Huh?
And Harold Brown.
Okay, but Lee Oscar on that harmonica, he says, I'm your Japanese harmonica player, and that's my hero, Hiro Seki.
Yes.
Are you listening? I hope so, babe.
Yes, and we were supposed to have people to call in at 323-293-3375. Something's going on out there with the phone land. I know my friend, she texted me saying she's trying to get through. So just keep trying. We're going to make sure.
We're right here.
Somebody wanted to call in and definitely say, hey. Okay, let's go on and talk about online. No, where's you have some gigs coming up at some local places.
Ma'am.
Give me some dates and times so people can come if they want to tune in and come out and see you.
Well, right now my home is downtown LA. I'm there once a month at the 7 Grand. It's on a Wednesday night. The fourth Wednesday of each month, I'm there. I call it my home away from home, and we just love it down there. We have a built-in crowd. We have people, the downtown crowd. A lot of people, they come to party. The place is always packed. We've got patio room, so if we got a spill over, they can go on the patio. But that's where I'm mainly based right now. I've got some other irons in the fire. I do look forward to being at the French Quarter out in Bellflower. There's another place I've done some work with my friend Michelle Richards. She books me out there when time. We got a new year now, so I'm looking forward to her booking me again very soon. But between the 7 Grand and the French Quarter, those are the two spots that I can tell you about for the time being. But I'm on Facebook. I always advertise and make a calendar of my dates and places that I'm going to be. And I'm sure that there's a whole lot of my friends hopefully are listening today. And those who may not be familiar, hopefully you'll hit me up on Facebook and
that's right.
We can
Rosa Lee
share.
Brooks. That's right.
We can share what's going on. But as I was saying, my band is equal to none. They are all some wonderful guys. I have to name Robert Gates on drums, C.J. Wilson on bass, badass bass player too.
Okay.
Got Coltrane Blues on guitar.
I think we have a caller. Okay, well, hold that note while we have
All
a caller
right.
calling in. Welcome to Jazzabrations Live. I'm your host, Linda Morgan. Who's on the line?
This is all right. Thank you, Linda Morgan.
How are
This
you?
is Terry Nicholson. I am a big fan of Rosa Lee Brooks. I met her on Facebook and said, I'm going to meet you in person.
Yes, you did. Hey,
Hey,
girl.
dear, welcome to the call.
Hey.
Thank you for calling in.
And we have been friends ever since. That is my soul sister.
That's right, baby. That's
hey,
right.
baby, can I talk to you?
Did you hear that earlier, girl?
Yes, I did.
All right
Yes,
now.
I did.
That's what I'm talking about. That's your song. That's our song, girl.
Yes, she got some blues you can use, baby.
That's right.
Yes, she does. I am so blessed. Yes, I am.
You hearing your echo. Turn that radio off in the back. You hear your echo. But keep on talking, dear.
Okay. Well, when I met her, okay, turn it down, huh? Okay. When I met Rosa Lee, it was as if I'd known her all my life.
Yes.
The connection, the spiritual connection.
Right.
She is such a soulful person. I mean, to her very fiber, I could sit at her feet and listen to her.
Wow. But that is so
Okay.
awesome.
My girl.
Are you still there?
Hey.
Oh, she must have dropped off with Miss T. Thank you so much for calling us.
Thank you, sister.
I'm still here.
All
Oh,
right.
okay.
I thought there was an echo. All right. I love you.
Love
I
you
both.
too.
All
Hey,
right, dear.
Michael. Hey, family. I love you guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much for calling in. Well, we got a little bit less than 10 minutes left. We're going to go into that last song that we have, and we're going to come back and talk about that here on Jazzabrations
All right, now.
Live, here with my wonderful guest, Miss Rosa Lee Brooks.
Thanks,
We'll
caller.
be right back.
Thank you.
the rest of my life. Rest of my life. I wanna be with you for the rest of my life. I wanna be with you.
Yes.
Rest of my life.
Rest of my life. Rest of my life. That's just me, y'all, doing a little bit of something. I love that song. Hey, baby.
That was the first time I sang it, was out there at the Lavender Blue.
Yes, that was wonderful. Hey, baby.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just sitting here mesmerized because right now, let me get back and focus. Because that one was good. Take you onto another world and then bring you back. So let me see. I have a couple of more questions, and then we got one more song. I know that people can follow you online on Facebook,
Yes.
Rosa Lee Brooks. Google her. As always, I always ask that even if you know them on Facebook or you don't know them, just go to Google and put in her name and search. Rosa Lee Brooks, 3 words, search. Just do a little search. Everybody that does a search puts it in the engine, makes it churn, and whatever kicks out, we know what happens there. So do you feel that blues is in a good space, left in the hands of the next generation? What little young blues artists do you know that's out there?
Well, I would like to mention a young lady that she's not a youngster, but she just embraced the blues in the last couple of years, and she's a heck of a singer.
What's her name?
Her name is Dina Michaels.
Oh, yes, that's my girl, Dina.
Yes,
Dina, we're talking about you.
I love my Dina Michaels, and she is everywhere she goes. She makes a storm, okay? Because everybody falls in love with her. Her voice is phenomenal. She can deliver blues like some of the great pioneers of the blues. I mean, real singers, real singers of the blues. I've seen a lot of watered down stuff going on. I don't see a lot of us embracing the blues in the youth of, like not really young in their 20s, 30s and stuff like that. I don't see any of. It's not that it may not happen. It's just not happening right now.
Right. Out here in L.A., we don't really see any young little blues stars coming up. I know that Rita has a little young guy.
Yeah, Mr. Ray Gorin, a youngster.
Yes.
He plays good guitar and he sings. And he was a protege of Jamie Powell, rest in peace. Mm-hmm. And he's gone on to do some wonderful things and appear in some very nice places. And he's steady going.
Right.
But
we need to find some young
African American talent, because this music, I'm not going to be like those who want to claim stuff that they want to say it belongs to them. But there's a definite root where all of this music came from.
Correct.
And I believe that it's African American rooted. So we're not going to allow anyone to leave us out of it.
Right.
Or say, or as so many things have happened like this in the past. Oh, no, you didn't do that. This is ours, That's not going to happen. We're not asleep.
Right.
We're not sleeping on this. There will, like they manufacture stuff, just like when Jimi Hendrix left the building like Elvis. Everybody that had a guitar in his hand had to be a white boy with slinging hair all over the place. So, I mean, when we lose our pioneers like B.B. Kings and Albert Kings and John Lee Hookers and all the rest of them, they seem like they get replaced with non-African American artists. And we love the blues. I mean, we just ain't trying to just run with the ball, but we do still want to be recognized that we have that to give as well.
Absolutely. Well, we are here to stay. The preservation of blues and jazz will be here forever.
Yes, sir.
And I want to thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank you
being
for
my
having
guest.
me.
This hour really goes so fast. You get to moving.
I really
and
enjoyed
you think
myself.
that you could just go forever, but it's just time is of the essence. Mother Nature is the song that we're going to go out on
All
as
right.
we get ready to roll out. Levon, I see you got that look on your face. You got Mother Nature's up there, right? We can go out on that as we end our second show of the year.
All right.
Here at Jazzabrations Live
That's the
at
hey,
Morris
y'all,
Media
Mother
Studios.
Nature
I want to
back in
thank
town.
my studio engineers, Mr. Levon Davison, and the only one, Mr. Johnny Morris in the house. Welcome back, sir. Thank you for being here. As we roll out.
All right. You got.
Hey, y'all! Mother Nature's back in town. I'm here to take care of business. Ain't got time to fool around. I'm looking for my man. I'm serious as a heart attack. One of you women stole him, but I'm here to get him back. Don't mess with Mother Nature. You'll be sorry if you do. Yes, you will.